Infernal Blessings, we are back with another video. Before we begin, some quick announcements. Alright, if you are interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, I offer various different readings: telepathic demonic readings, Egyptian oracle readings, deity readings to see what spirits, gods, goddesses, and demons walk with you. Shadow work readings, which, as I've said over and over and will continue to say, is a great reading to do to see what's going on with the shadow self, the hidden self, what's buried there in the subconscious mind, to see what's going on around you. It's a great reading to do to see what type of work you should be doing as far as ritual work is concerned. And as I've said before, and will continue to say, ritual work should be designed first and foremost around your needs first, rather than your wants. If you're interested maybe just in a spiritual consultation, which can be used as a session to ask whatever questions you want. As I said before, people use it as a pretty much one-on-one with me to ask me whatever they want to ask, or sometimes they have something specific that they want to focus on. It can be used for any of the aforementioned. If you're interested, shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com. Please include a full weekly availability along with the time zone you are in, and we will set something up and find a time that works for you and me. Also, if you're interested in signing up for classes, the way you sign up for classes that I offer is go to the official Patreon page at patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, tier 3. That gives you access to all of the private classes I do every month, which is 3 on Patreon for Patreon members only, including the group ritual we do together at the end of the month. Also, keep in mind, when you do join the Patreon page, you don't just get access from the day you join moving forward. You also get everything in the archive going back 4+ years with all the ongoing classes. You get access to the group work that we're doing in the classes, plus the ritual work. As I've said before, it's a lot of content, right? It's going to keep you busy for years. It's not even an exaggeration. Okay, I say that with confidence, not arrogance. What I'm offering for the price I'm offering it, there's nobody out there offering what I'm offering. Trust me when I tell you. So if you want to go pay hundreds of dollars to take a class that basically more than likely isn't worth that, that's up to you. To check out the various ongoing classes I have going on right now, go to the Patreon page, go to the collection section. You will see I have about 15 or more classes going on with constant content being added constantly. Okay, the way you when you join, the classes are done via a private Zoom link. So when you come in live, you're able to interact with me and other people in the class. But if you can't get there live, as I said before, everything is recorded and archived. All right. Also, don't forget to check us out on our social media pages: Primordial Chaos 9, all one word, on Instagram; Primordial Chaos 2 words on Facebook. I also upload all this new YouTube content to the Facebook page, and Primordial Chaos 3 on TikTok. That's the TikTok page. All 3 up and running. That's the best place to go to stay up on all the latest updates, classes, and the latest happenings with Primordial Chaos. All right. Also, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. Direct link to the podcast, along with my contact email address, along with the link to all the social media pages, along with the direct link to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page to sign up for classes. All of that information and all of those links are in the description box of this video that you are watching right now. All right, you see the topic. I've gotten many emails about this topic on and off over the years. I've done lectures and classes on this topic going back 20 years. This comes up a lot. So sometimes newer people on the path of spirituality or consciousness, they come across this. One of the first things they come across. So let me share some wisdom on this. When you're reading about the Nephilims or the giants in the earth, right? Let's first start. All the clues and the information literally is right there in your Bible. right? There's a lot of books on this. A lot of authors have touched on this subject, teachers, etc. So there's a lot of information you can gather on there. But I'm going to even show you how you can just do some basic common sense research, because they left all the clues of it in the Bible. Now, regardless of your take on the Bible, right? Whether you believe it's a literal book, whether you believe it's allegorical, a combination of both, or pure mythology, or fiction, etc. As I've said briefly, without getting in, because that could be a class in itself, as I've said, the Bible is a conglomeration of stories of cultures that predated it, right? So let's first establish, when we're reading some of the key events in the Bible, whether when we're talking about the flood story of Noah, that is not a unique story. That is found prior to the biblical story in the Sumerian tablets, in the Atrahasis and the Gilgamesh epics, has the flood story. Other cultures too, outside of Sumeria, you'll find a flood story in various cultures that predate the Bible, right? You will also find the story of Moses, very similar with the story of Thutmose the first of ancient Egypt, who pushed the Hyksos out of Egypt. They were invaders, and restored his people. That story almost identical to the biblical character of Moses. The list goes on and on. That's just a couple key events. So we have to first understand, it's not so much about what is our personal opinion on the Bible. Do we accept it as just pure mythology, fiction, etc.? We have to do the research and come to the conclusion, and we could all be in agreement that this book is a conglomeration of stories and cultures that predated it. And how you know they grafted it from other cultures and stories. For an example, again, the Exodus story and the children of Israel and the Israelites. There's no record of any people being in Egypt for 400 plus years in bondage. And the Egyptians were meticulous at keeping records, as I said many times before. If there were some invaders there for 400 plus years, or some people that resided there would be some record of it. Now, that story is very eerily similar to the story of the Hyksos, the shepherd kings, the Hekakasut. That I get, but that has nothing to do with the biblical story. So what I'm trying to say is, these authors, these men of the Bible, got together and put together a text that they can use to control the masses through fear. Stay in line, do good, you're going to go to heaven, great reward. If you don't listen, don't follow the rules and regulations, you're going to burn in eternally in hell. It was just a great plot or plan. But that's neither here nor there. So, when you're talking about the giants and the Nephilims, or these gods that walk the earth, you have to trace it back to a culture, one, Anunnaki, for an example. Okay? You can look at the Anunnaki in a couple of different perspectives. When you read the stories and how they got here, you read the story of Nibiru, you read the story of the crafts, all these different stories. These were actually intelligent beings from outside of our galaxy. Okay? These were beings from other star systems. When you read the text, you see this. So intelligent life form has been visiting this planet for a long time. It's nothing new. Is there conspiracy theories by our government to cover these things up? Of course there is. Because if you were to find that there was something that existed outside of your biblical text and religion that they programmed you with from a young child, then you start to say, wait, something's not right. Who's really running the game here? And it would null and void all of this religious dogma that's pumped out here. So when you go into the text of the Bible, and you go into the 4th chapter, let's back up first. Let's actually go into the 6th chapter of Genesis. Okay? And when you read the 6th chapter, it talks about there were giants in the earth. And this is clearly what it says. You can go look this up. It's not me making it up. It says there was giants in the earth in those days, and they saw the daughters of men, and the daughters of men looked fair to them. So they came in unto them and produced and had children with them. So they came in unto these women, and it says they had children with them. So who were these giants on the Nephilim? Okay? And then Tie and the Watchers, the Agigi. These were all beings that were highly intelligent beings that existed outside of our solar system, from other planets, whether it was in our solar system or outside of our solar system. These beings have been coming back and forth for years, visiting this planet. Our government has full knowledge of it. They always have. You can go back to references like places like Area 51 and I think it's 51, in Las Vegas. They try to hush these things up because if some of this information got out, it would invalidate a lot of the shit they've been feeding us for years and trying to get us to believe. So we see these giants came down to earth and came into the daughters of men, and they produced children with them. Well, some of you are a product of those children. This is why the illusion, or some people get a little bit confused or don't have an understanding. There's different perspectives and opinions of how we got here. Why are we here? What's our purpose? Why did we incarnate on this realm? Well, some of you are direct children and descendants of those Nephilim or giants, right? This planet was populated by intelligent beings that existed outside of our realm, okay? And they've been coming back and forth to here for eons, okay? So the crazy thing about it is when you read that story about the giants and the earth, and when you read the story of Cain and Abel, you're going to find one interesting point that stands out. As we know the story, real quick, Cain slays Abel, Abel dies, and then Cain is banished to the land of Nod, and there's a mark put upon his forehead. So anybody that saw that mark was to know that they should not lay hands upon Cain, or something would happen to them, all right? Now, here's the crazy thing about that, okay? Which just basically doesn't add up at all. But here's the crazy thing. According to the biblical history up until that point, when you're reading the Bible, the only people on the planet Earth was Cain, Abel, his sisters, Adam and Eve. Who were these people in Nod or Nud that Cain had to have a mark put upon his head so he wouldn't be harmed by them? Because the Bible doesn't mention where they came from. Or is it those giants in the earth that came down, right? Or came outside, from outside of our planet, came down and came into the daughters of men and produced children. Now, whether you guys want to understand or accept or not, a lot of these archetypes, spirits, demons, gods, and goddesses we work with on the occult or the left-hand path, this is why I tell you guys, stop putting a date on them. Because some of them are directly correlated to these entities that have been coming here going back years upon years. You could say thousands, millions, it's regardless. This has been going on for a long time. This is why you can connect Lilith, Lucifer, to the pre-creation stories. I'm going back pre-biblical creation, right? Because you also have to understand when you're reading that Genesis story, that is not the beginning as you think what they program you, the beginning. Because we know there's no such thing as a beginning, right? Everything's in cycles. There's only really cyclical time. Linear time is an illusion. Okay, so these giants in the earth came down, they mixed with humans. And to go to show you at one point we were divine, and to go to show you at one point that we know this is not the beginning, and the Bible doesn't refer to the creation of our planet as the beginning, because the word, and it's very deceiving. I was reading the King James Study Bible with the concordance, and it has the explanations, okay? And I was curious to go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 to see how they broke that word down. Okay? The word replenish. And as it says in the Bible, God said, let us make man in our image and our likeness. Now he's talking to a group of bands, right? So who are these bands that he's talking to in this conversation? Christians will spook it out. They'll say it's Jesus, this, that, and the other. All you got to do is go back into Hebrew and clearly see the term that's used there, which is the Elohim, which is plural for gods. Okay? And it says, make man in our image and likeness to replenish the earth. Now here's the trickery and the fuckery that they do. When I looked in this King James Concordance Study Bible, they translate the word to make new. To make new again. It's not what it means. Because all you got to do is go onto your phone to Wikipedia or any dictionary and type in replenish, and the definition will clearly tell you that it means to refill, replace. Okay? And they use the word replenish to refill. In order to refill something is confirmation that something was there already. The word in Hebrew is mole. They know this. But they don't want you, because if they said and admitted in that Concordance and Study Bible that it means to refill, they would have to now do a lot of it explaining. To refill what? To refill and replace something that was already there. Because what you're reading in the Genesis, picking up from one of the many cataclysmic events or meteorite showers that have struck our planet. A lot of ancient texts have talked about it. You're talking about the emergence. This is not the beginning of creation. And again, get out of your mind that beginning concept, because it doesn't exist. That's part of keeping you under the spell and the illusion, to keep you tricked and not thinking straight and all fucked up in the head, because they don't want you to think outside the box. So the word replenish does not mean to make new. Okay? To revitalize. They had this crazy explanation. All you got to do is look that up. You can look it up right now and watch. It means to refill. Okay? So that's not the beginning of what we're thinking, or what they've programmed us to believe is this creation story. Okay? So we're seeing that there were beings that existed here already. Oh, they already existed here. Okay? These were the giants in the earth mentioned in Genesis 6. These were the beings that Cain had to fear when he went to the land of Nod or Nud, which is further confirming that the Bible is picking up from one of the many replenishing periods. Okay? And this is why it only goes back, its history only goes back 6,000 years when you trace its tradition of religion. Be it the three major monotheistic religions of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. Now, here's even more simple logic to defy that this is pure stupidity, religion, and how Bible is taught via religion. I've always pointed this question. If you go into Genesis chapter 4, verse 26, right? It talks about a character named Seth. And Seth means he who is compensation, or compensation. Who is he compensation for? That's who Seth was given to Adam and Eve as compensation for Abel being killed. So he was a child of Adam and Eve. And it says clearly in that verse, because remember now, they have now, the story says they have now, awoke from that whole, I'm not going to get into the story of the serpent in the garden, because it gets a little complex when you jump. It might seem like it's a lot of jumping around, but that's how they did it. They grafted from these stories and placed different key pieces all over the place. So when you get it presented like this, it sounds confusing for those that don't know, not for those that do know. So we see Seth was given to Adam and Eve, I'm saying this according to the biblical story, as compensation for Abel, who was slain by his own brother. And it says, and then men began to call upon the name of the Lord. So the first instance you ever see of what we're calling religious prayer is in this quote here. Now my question was, from that point where this transpires with Seth on back, what was the religion that Adam and Eve were following? Or was there a religion? I'll do you one even better. Up until Adam, up until Moses, before the law, the Torah was revealed, what religion were the people from prior to Moses on back. Be careful before you answer. I point that out because it shows you further how they've grafted from different stories. And their religion, or the religion they say you're supposed to be, whether it's Muslim, Christian, or Jew, its confirmation comes way after the fact. And I'm talking way after the fact, no exaggeration. Okay? That's my point. That's what I'm getting ready to see. So these Nephilims, or giants in the earth, there's clues of them. I use the Bible because the Bible is one of the most commonly known and widely used books. Okay? Now, we, from an occult, esoteric, left-hand path perspective, we don't look at the Bible through religious eyes. We look at the Bible through occult eyes. And when you look at the Bible with your occult eyes, you see something entirely different. It's an esoterical occult book that unlocks a lot of secrets or hidden knowledge. You just need to be able to see it. The eye, this eye, needs to be trained to see it. But when you accept how man have come and taken it and manipulated it and have created religions and dogmas to control people, then it becomes very toxic and poison. Okay? So know how to view it, and then you will see, especially a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about right now. Okay? So again, in a nutshell, as I wrap up this short tutorial, the Nephilims, or if you want to refer to them as giants, the Watchers, the Agigis, who are mediators, these beings have been here and coming back and forth here to this planet for years, and will continue to. And our government is well aware of them. Our government has made pacts with these intelligent beings that come back and forth here in exchange for technology or information on highly advanced technology. Just like we want to study them and their ways, why do you think they come here? They're interested in studying humans and their ways. Now, this shit goes deeper. There's layers to this. One short video like this does it an injustice. And this is why I'm very selective when I talk about this topic, because I don't want people to go to Spookville. I want people to make sure they stay grounded, okay? So yeah, your Nephilims and your giants, they've been encoded in ancient texts. You can go other texts like the Bhagavad Gita. You can go into the Sumerian text. You can go into some of the ancient Egyptian texts. There's always records of beings coming from beyond the stars. Highly intelligent beings from outside of our realm, our planet, our solar system and galaxy. Okay? I mean, there's so many resources where you can see clues clearly explaining and alluding to this. Or you, right here in the modern Bible. All right, so there's records of it everywhere. Do your research. Even, again, one last thing, and maybe I'll do a video on that. The Book of Enoch talks about the Watchers, Zaz, Iggy. There's a lot of information in the Book of Enoch that is very crystal clear on acknowledging these Nephilims or these giants. If you want to refer to them as extraterrestrials, that's your point. That's your choice too. I'm careful because when you say extraterrestrial, because of programming and indoctrination, some people who are asleep will be thinking Martians and little green men. You know, all the sensationalism they have pumped out over the years. No. When we're talking about these extraterrestrial beings or highly intelligent beings, they look just like you and me. You wouldn't even know. So don't get it twisted. Don't think it's going to be some cataclysmic event and crafts are going to invade from outer space and all this and that. No, they have high forms of technology. They're here. They're walking amongst us. You're intermingling with them and you don't even know it. Trust me when I tell you. This shit's been going on for years. That's why, again, Roswell, they were so quick to cover that up. Okay? The list goes on and on. I think you get my point. I think it's crystal clear. So, the Nephilims and the giants, and they've always been here, people. They always have been here. All right? All right, I hope this short tutorial helped you. Yes, there's a lot more I could talk about this, but again, as you know, these short tutorials, I know sometimes they open a can of worms on more topics, but we'll save that for the lives, all right? I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, don't forget to check out all the links in the description box of the video, the links to the social media pages, the link to the Primordial Cast podcast, my contact email address if you want to book a spiritual reading or a consultation. Also, the Patreon page link to sign up for classes. All of those links are in the description box of this video you're watching right now. We will talk soon. Infernal blessings.